October 13th, 1995, South Carolina. It was a normal Friday afternoon. The atmosphere was calm and beautiful, and everything seemed ordinary for the Shaw family. Parker Shaw had returned with his granddaughter Brianna. His wife, Brenda, was sitting in the car. There was no unusual movement in the house. However, they were unaware that 3 masked robbers were already hiding inside, waiting to attack. As soon as Parker tried to open his garage door, the remote didn't work. He thought it was a technical issue and decided to go inside and open it manually. As he opened the inner door of the house, 2 masked men attacked him. Their eyes were filled with cruelty, and they held guns in their hands. Parker was forcibly tied up and locked inside a bedroom. Outside, Brenda was waiting, but when the garage door suddenly opened, she was startled. "Get inside," one of the attackers shouted. Brenda and Brianna were also captured and taken to Parker. The Shaw family was terrified and helpless. Suddenly, the gang leader revealed that they were not just there for money and valuables. Their real target was their daughter, Amy, who worked at a nearby bank. At 7 p.m., Amy Shaw, a bank employee, was returning home after a tiring day. When she knocked on the front door, she felt something was wrong. The door was locked, which was unusual. As soon as the door opened, she was held at gunpoint. The gang leader said, "We won't harm you or your family if you cooperate." They told her they needed access to the bank vault. Amy was threatened that if she resisted or tried to act smart, her family would pay the price. At gunpoint, Amy was forced to drive her car. 2 codes were required to open the vault. Amy said, "I only have 1 code." The gang leader threatened, "Your family's life depends on this vault opening." On the way to the bank, Amy tried to stay calm. Her mind was focused on protecting her family and stopping the robbers. When they reached the bank, the gang leader ordered Amy to drive slowly around the building. He wanted to check if there were any employees or security guards inside. Once everything seemed clear, he ordered her to enter. At 8 p.m., Amy and the robbers entered through the bank's back door. The gang leader removed his mask to avoid drawing attention in a public place. Amy slowly showed them the alarm system and explained that she could only enter 1 code. The gang leader, in a calm yet firm tone, said, "If anyone tries anything suspicious, your family will pay for it." Amy reached the vault and entered her code. On the other side, she called her colleague. Her voice was filled with fear, but she remained brave for her family's safety. Amy said, "I need the 2nd code." Her colleague hesitated and asked, "Are you okay?" The gang leader snatched the phone and directly threatened, "If we don't get the code, I will come there myself." Out of fear, the colleague gave the code. As soon as Amy entered both codes, the vault opened. The gang leader ordered her to point to the cash without die packs. Quickly, he stuffed $36,000 into bags. Before leaving, he told Amy, "Call your home and ensure my men leave safely." Meanwhile, the Shaw family was locked in their living room. Every sound made them more anxious. Suddenly, a car stopped in the driveway. It was Amy's brother and his wife, who had arrived with their daughter. As soon as they entered, the robbers took them hostage too. Now, a total of 6 people were held captive inside the house. One of the robbers said, "We will leave soon." But as time passed, they grew restless. Suddenly, a gun accidentally fired. The gunshot increased the risk of alerting the neighbors. One of the robbers informed the gang leader over the phone that the situation was getting out of control. The gang leader ordered, "Get out of there as soon as possible." Threatening the family, the robbers took the son-in-law's car keys. But when they tried to drive away, the car got stuck in a ditch. They had no choice but to flee on foot. Soon as the robbers left, the Shaw family took a sigh of relief and freed themselves. Before calling the police, they informed Amy. At 9 p.m., immediately after the Shaw family reported the incident, the police and the FBI arrived at the scene. Agents Kenneth Bush and local officer Don Bullock secured the area. The FBI agents confirmed that the criminals had stolen a total of $86,000 and were armed. The police started gathering evidence around the house. In the garage, they found oil-stained shoe prints and photographed them for records. Inside the house, they found a .38 caliber bullet shell that had been fired accidentally. Outside, a car was found stuck in a ditch. It was the same car the robbers had tried to escape with. Fingerprints were recovered from the car, which could help identify the suspects. In the bushes, the police found more evidence: a shotgun, a .357 Magnum pistol, masks, and gloves. Despite collecting this evidence, the criminals were nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, the Shaw family told the police that the three attackers were African-American men, but they never saw their faces because they wore masks. At 10 p.m., an all-points bulletin APB was issued for the suspects. An off-duty deputy spotted two suspicious men walking. The deputy stopped them and asked, "What are you doing here?" One of them replied, "We were playing basketball at the church." The deputy found this suspicious since it was already dark, and the church's basketball court had no lights. When he questioned them further, both men got nervous. The police detained them. During interrogation, their names were revealed: Daniel Evans and L. Marco Roscoe. FBI agent Jerry Jones began interrogating them separately. Both confessed to their involvement in the crime. The agent asked, "Who is the gang leader?" Roscoe replied, "We only know his name is Chris." With this clue, the agents identified Christopher Jebb. His name was already in police records. The police immediately started searching for him. The next day, Christopher Jebb's mother was called. She convinced her son to surrender. At 1 a.m., Jebb and his girlfriend arrived at his mother's house. Jebb was arrested and charged with kidnapping, bank robbery, and conspiracy. In March 1996, he was sentenced to life imprisonment plus 5 additional years. But Jebb had no intention of staying in prison. Just weeks after arriving at Atlanta's maximum security prison, he began plotting an escape. On June 20th, in the dead of night, Jebb cut through a cell's window grill with a smuggled metal blade. He climbed over 2 fences lined with barbed wire, injuring himself in the process. Despite bleeding, he ran into the nearby swamps. By morning, the authorities realized he was missing and launched a massive search operation. A local tip-off led the police to a weak, wounded Jebb hiding in a swamp. He was recaptured and sent back to maximum security prison. This time, he never escaped again. Even today, he remains behind bars. This concludes our story for today.